Breakfast Show. It's been a festive period for our Muslim brothers. Happy Eid Mubarak. In the spirit of Eid Mubarak, I say good morning, good afternoon, or good evening to you from whichever part of the world you are watching from. I am Toke Bravo, and this is CA Channel's Breakfast Show on channel 416 Moplex. Like I usually say, Moplex is our own, so we have to embrace it. Moplex is our own cable station. Therefore, you have to get yourself a Moplex decoder today. We are campaigning for the Naira to become strengthened, and for we to strengthen our own currency, we have to buy made in Nigeria products so that we can grow our currency. On this note, I'm welcoming you to the show today. Thank God for life. How was your celebration of the Eid Mubarak? How did it go? Okay, I didn't get anyone to give me either rice, meat. I did not even get anything at all. What's happening? Is it that it's because of the cost of food in the market, or because some people just think that this is not Salah where they share meat, therefore they should finish their Eid Mubarak food in their house? Is that it? Okay, someone winked at me here in the studio that during Easter, who did you give your food? Okay, oh, I will not even say much. I will not say much, but the truth is that we should always appreciate God, appreciate people around us during the time of celebration, whether you are a Christian or you are a Muslim. Some people were alive this season last year, and this season this year, they are no longer alive. It's not like we are actually mocking them, but we are all just referencing God for the gift of life. So once again, in the spirit of Eid Mubarak, because some people are still on holiday in some states, I say congratulations to our Muslim brothers and sisters. We'll go on this quick short break. When we come back, we'll go deep into the breakfast business. Thank you for staying tuned. It's still the CA Breakfast Show, and I am Toke Bravo once again. We go straight to the lucky stories that made it to the front pages of the national dailies today. We are starting with The Guardian. On The Guardian, we have hard times for addicts as fresh concerns as youth get high on feces, nutmeg, illicit substances. This is a fresh discovery. How can you get high on feces? How? Like you poo and then you smoke it, or how do they do that? This is very serious, and I think the relevant agencies should take it up. Afenifere urges Southwest governors to get federal government's grant for farmers. They are urging Southwest governors to get grants for farmers. It has been in the news that government has been giving out grains, is it that farmers from Southwest are not actually gaining from this? Are they not one of those that is achieving this? Are they not one of those that partook in that exercise? If you want to know more about that story, please get yourself a Guardian newspaper this morning. Nigeria records $3.2 billion loss in first quarter as oil production hits record low. Lagos Calabar to be completed in 8 years at 4 billion per kilometers. That's also on the Guardian newspaper. Minister apologized for jive on electricity consumption culture, cheap tariff. If you want to know more on the updates concerning the electricity tariff, please get yourself that copy of The Guardian to get more on that. Injury on Okwama killings. Journalist barred as stakeholders worry over fairness. This is going too deep, and I think that the president should not just take his eyes off this. The deed has been done, but I personally think that there should be fairness in the justice that is actually being melted on Okwama people. The army should let private investigators come in. Journalists should be allowed. There shouldn't be one side of hearing. We shouldn't just be hearing from their sides alone. There are people who didn't actually know anything about this offense. If you start getting people killed, getting people to be punished for what they do not know, then it's no longer that's like correcting a wrong with another wrong. I hope the relevant agencies, the relevant authorities will go check into this and do the right thing. We move further. Top 4 banks earn 8 trillion naira in 12 months. Record 3.5 trillion naira FS gain. That's good. And here we have Christian elders link insecurity to foreign invasion. This has been in the story for a long time. It has been in the report that most of these terrorists, these bandits that we have in the country, they are foreigners. They are foreigners. You remember the time, the massacre that happened at Owo that year. They lamented, and it was in the report that most of those attackers were foreigners. But why would foreigners come into our own country to threaten us? Why would they come here to just kill, mine? And what's the aim? What's the motive behind it? Moving on to the Punch newspaper, Nigeria's oil production drops again. Now 1.23 BPD that's coming from OPEC. Law to terminate many cases at Apex Court. That's coming from the Attorney General of the Federation. Ogubanjo's family sues US firm for helicopter crash. Moving on, SSANU NASU berate minister over half-paid promise. Federal government plans compensation in 9 states, put cost at 15 trillion naira. Tinubu orders payment of compensation for property owners in Lagos, Akwa Ibom, 7 others. Federal government extends eviction notice for property owners. NSE says project will improve states' economies. If you want to know more about that story, you can also get the Punch newspaper. It's on the banner headline of the Punch newspaper. Government shuts the Sumu market. Sanwo-Olu hints at building demolition. Make Yoruba teaching language in Southwest schools, says Afenifere. I know of Lagos. Yoruba is already a subject in Lagos schools, right from primary school to the secondary schools. You just have to study Yoruba. You don't have a choice here in Lagos, but I believe that other states also, Southwest states especially, should consider Yoruba language, because we have seen reports of the whites, people from other Western country, studying Yoruba as a language. So if we don't appreciate us, one day somehow culture might go into extinction if people who owns the culture does not hold it in high esteem and continually pass it to their up and coming generation. Such culture might go into extinction, and then foreigners might come back to teach them their own culture, because foreigners are actually living on the legacy. They are actually delving into Ifa, Orisha, deity, stories, histories of Yoruba. So if Yoruba neglect their own culture and history, I pray we won't have oyinbos, like we call them, I mean foreigners, coming to teach us our own culture. Moving on, Junior Pope. AGN suspend Riverside movie shootings. Police launch probe. NAFDAC bans Turkey-made soap. Track fake Indian injection provider. That's on the Punch newspaper. We move on to the Vanguard newspaper. Zenith Bank grows gross earnings by 125% to 2.13 trillion naira. If you want that story, get yourself a Vanguard newspaper this morning. Tinubu, Jibril, Kalu, Uzodinma, Obi, others more as Ogbonaya Onu dies at 72. That's on the page 7 of the Vanguard newspaper. Odili declares Fubara leaders of PDP in Rivers State. This Fubara case is eating deep, and I think that PDP should get up as we approach 2027. You know, that's another year for them to put their house together now so that they can match up, and if possible put the ruling party on its toes, because opposition parties is more like a live wire to every ruling party. They make sure that they are there to make the ruling party step up and do the right thing. So I will implore the PDP's leaders to come together and see to this Fubara and Wike's case before it gets out of hand. Concerning Junior Pope again, how Fanta money I sprayed in the river saved me. That's one of the survivor. Christian elders to Tinubu adopt 2014 confab report. On the confab report that was held in 2014 during the ex-president Goodluck Jonathan's era, the Christian Association, Christian elders, are actually asking the president Bola Ahmed Tinubu to adopt that confab report. If you want to know more about that story, please get your Vanguard newspaper. It's on the page 10 of the Vanguard newspaper. Lagos Calabar Coastal Road uproar over cost as federal government proposes 3,000 naira per toll gate. Wow. Okay, this road is under construction and the federal government is proposing 3,000 per toll gate right now. I believe that there are stakeholders that will have to sit and discuss that, especially not this time, though the road is still under construction, so they have a lot of time to discuss that. Army invades another Delta community, arrested, raises home. That's on the Okwama killings that happened since 14th of March. The army has not rested. They are still invading homes, raiding where they could to get people perceived to be culprits. And here there is a report of homes raised. And I said it earlier that the government should not just look away from this issue. They should please look into it. This is going too deep than necessary. The government should do something about this. Even the security agencies should do something about this. They should do something about this. Manufactured goods import rise 269% to 9 trillion naira. Exports decline. Why Ogubanjo's family sued Shatter Company over helicopter crash. You can also get that story on the Vanguard newspaper. Minister apologized for saying Nigerians keep freezers on due to low tariff. He has apologized. One thing about Nigerians, you say something that they don't like, be ready to be thrown, be ready to hear from them. It's a good thing that he has apologized. I just hope that he is able to come up with a better tariff and make Nigerians happy. Osimhen close to accepting PSG's 17 billion naira per season offer. And that's all on the Vanguard newspaper. Moving on to the Daily Independent newspaper. Why Tinubu is bent on strengthening Naira against That's coming from the presidency. You can read that on the front page of the Daily Independent newspaper. A kilometer of Lagos Calabar coastal highway cost 4 billion naira, coming from the minister Umahi. Says ITEC got project based on competence. Moving forward on the banner headline, how federal government can help airpeace battle price war conspiracy. That statement is coming from experts. Say foreign carriers threatened by airpeace expansion. And truthfully, the president shouldn't look away from this issue, as airpeace, our own pride, is actually going through this crisis. But the truth is that some people are of the opinion that do not start what you cannot finish, that airpeace actually started the price tussle when he actually gave a lower price for some routes, and then he wants he wants a better price. He does not want others to also do what he has done before to him now. According to report, a lot of airline has actually brought down their prices to as low as 123,000 naira to travel to UK, to London. Isn't that baffling? But the truth is that airpeace is our own, so we cannot not only talk about it, but we have to stand our ground and support him at this time. But some people actually are of the opinion that why, as a Nigerian, will I get a chance to travel to London at 123,000 naira, and I will leave that option to go for a 4 million naira flight. But now that the experts are advising the president on this, let's see how it goes. Moving on, Zenith Bank achieves triple digits top line bottom line growth in 2023. Lagos market inferno. More buildings will be demolished, says Sanwo-Olu. Of course, the fire outbreak on the Dosumu market recently, we noticed how we all saw from report how some buildings collapsed due to inflammable gadgets that they housed. A lot of inflammable gadgets were in those buildings, and the fire got out of hand and a lot of buildings came down. So it's coming from Governor Sanwo-Olu that more buildings will go down. Gunmen attack police checkpoint at Abakaliki, kill officer. That's on page 6 of the Daily Independent newspaper. Tinubu, Obi, Uzodinma, Kalu, Abaribe, Mon, Ogbonaya. Akpabio calls for collaboration among tiers of government. Federal government moves to address critical challenges in justice sector. Yes, it's no longer news that the justice summit is coming up soon. Let's see how it goes. Ogunbanjo's family sues helicopters company over US crash. That's on page 7 of the Daily Independent newspaper. Thank you for staying tuned. If you want more of these stories, you want to know more about each of these stories, just grab your dailies and read through. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back shortly. Breakfast Show, and I am still Toke Bravo, your host. Today we have a lot of stories to talk about, but before we move on, the entertainment industry in Nigeria actually experienced another tragic occurrence yesterday or day before yesterday, on Wednesday precisely, when some people, some actors who were on location actually had a boat accident on the river Niger, and about 5 of them got drowned. As at this time, 2 have been confirmed dead. Some survived, as the report goes on. I say, may the soul of the departed rest in peace, and I pray that our entertainment industry will experience peace, as 2024 has been a trying year for them. A lot of them actually have been sick. A lot died. When I say a lot, when you lose one person who is dear to you, I regard that as a lot, because you cannot get that person ever again. So whatever that person could or should do for you in years to come, that's a lot to me. And when you lose someone, you can only live with the memories that you have shared together. You can't have them anymore. We lost Mr. Ibu, we lost Amechi Monago, now we lost Junior Pope. There was Jumoke Aderomu on Tuesday, just in this year, and some that I can't even remember. Mohbad's case is not even up to 1 year, he has not even been buried. So a lot is going on in the entertainment industry, and that takes me to the write-up of the Nigerian police, extending their deepest condolences to the Actors Guild of Nigeria and all who knew and cherished John Paul Odonwodo, fondly called Junior Pope, as well as the other actors whose lives were tragically shortened in the recent boat mishap on the River Niger. The loss of this talent is a profound tragedy in the entertainment industry and the country at large. Our thoughts and prayers are with their families and colleagues during this difficult time. As investigations into the cause of the accident continue, we join in mourning the lives cut short and pray for the peaceful repose of their souls. There are a lot of angles I would like to talk about concerning this. You know, it's not just in the entertainment industry alone. In every sector, we usually have work hazards. There are a lot of work accidents that is not planned for, unforeseen circumstances. But how can we do to caution some mishap? How can we do to make sure that some unnecessary mistake does not happen, which could injure people or even take their lives? Like in the case of this Junior Pope and his colleagues on the boat, the first mistake was that they were not on life jacket. None of them was wearing a life jacket. That is one. Another thing, some people alleged that that issue would have been an issue of easy pass if they were spiritually minded. You see, we are growing every day, and we want to take something away from us, which is the spirituality of the African spirit. There is no way we want to take that away. We were born with it. We grew to knowing some of these histories. We have seen things that we can regard as mystery. We are not supposed to vex these spirits. Let them be. If you don't have trust, if you don't believe in them, just face where you are going. So people allege that one of them, called TC, actually was ringing bell on the Niger River. He was ringing bell to most of the villagers, to most of the people that they were there together. Said he actually was invoking the spirits that live in that water, even though nobody has evidence concerning that, because the villagers said that day was their market day, Eke day, like they said. Therefore, nobody was supposed to do that particular activity on the river. Even the person that rang the bell might not even be aware that it was Eke day 1. he might not be aware that ringing the bell on such a river could cost them their lives. But I think this should also signal to us that we should be careful. We are not from Western climes. We are not from the even foreigners. We have seen videos where they do some spiritual things on themselves, and we begin to wonder, do they have their own spiritual side? I personally have watched a particular football team, a popular football team, doing their rituals before allowing their team to go on to play the match. How much more we Africans, that we bathe, we dine in this, and we just wake up one day and want to cleanse it off. That's another aspect of that story that I think we should be careful when dealing with things that has mystery histories around them. We should be more careful. If you are shooting, if you find yourself on the water, there are some things that you know that have been in speculation, it has been in history, that you don't do. So why not avoid those things? Another story came up because of this incident where they said that someone was on water, on boat, and that person was there with his girlfriend, and this guy was shouting, "Mommy, water power, powerless power," you know, internet. A lot of stories came up, and immediately their boat catch fire and all the likes. You might say this is malicious. You might say this is what's that word again? The word that leads me right now. But you can, you say, no, this is not something that we want to reckon with. We are not supposed to be discussing this on TV. But I'm putting it to you that we are Africans. You must say it is superstitious. You must say this token, all you've been saying is superstitious. Believe me, we are born with all this history. We cannot say they are not true, because our forefathers, they have evidences. Those that saw Ogun, those that saw the Oduduwa, those that saw him, our forefathers, the generation of those that witnessed Oduduwa, and their descendants, direct descendants, will not say it's a lie. So when you are being told some things, if you don't believe it, just everything you are being told, just make sure you keep them and avoid it, so that you will not be entangled in such stories, because your life comes first. Another thing is that 12 people on one boat, some people said it was too much, that they are not supposed to have 12 on a boat. And you know, when things happen, people get to talk about different kind of things, but we have to mention all these things so that producers, even people who have to go, there are some engineers that travel wide and near to do their jobs. They even travel on water too. So they should take cognizance of all these things that is being pointed out. We cannot say because it's happening to the actors alone, because it happens to the actors this time, other sectors should not be bothered. We should all take this as a case study and digest it properly. I pray once again that the soul of the departed find peace with their maker. And lastly, Junior Pope actually survived, because according to report, they said they took him to the morgue, and the workers there told them that this guy has not died. Go and do some rituals at the riverside. They did, and then he became conscious again. Okay, he has his life, but he was unconscious. They have to rush him to hospital so that they can place him on oxygen to normalize his breathing. But they couldn't get oxygen in 3 hospitals. And at the end, after 4 hours of fighting for his life, he gave up the ghost. This is a very bad report. It's not good for our image as Nigerians. 3 solid hospitals in a state, 3 solid hospitals in a state does not have oxygen. Have they not treated any emergency before? How do they cope? How come in Lagos State there are some numbers you can call that if you are in a very bad state and you need emergency response. There are some numbers that the state government actually gave that you can actually call, and you will get swift response. Why not emulate such? Why can't other states emulate such? Because if there was something like that yesterday or Wednesday, I believe that some people would have made calls. There would have been ambulance that would come direct to that place and pick him up. From the ambulance, he will start getting the right treatment that he was supposed to get. But then it is too late to cry when the head is off. I pray that God gives his family, his wife, his 3 children the fortitude to bear this loss, and even others that lost their soul, because according to report, the makeup artist died, another man died in that accident. This is sad. This is sad. And our governors also should do better. Check the hospitals. When you give out money to get facilities into these public hospitals, make sure you monitor thoroughly. It's unheard of that government hospitals, private hospitals that are in places where strategic places in a state does not have some facilities. It's very bad. It's very bad. It's very bad. I just hope that we keep talking, and our governors and whoever is involved will do better. Moving on to the next story on electricity tariff. On electricity tariff, there has been a lot of issues concerning tariff. Some people even the senior advocate of Nigeria, Baba Falana, is actually talking deeply about this. He actually has not bowed down. He said that this is a scam because this subsidy has been removed since the time of Buhari. How come this new government is coming to claim that they want to remove subsidy? How is that possible? If one government has removed it, why do we have the recent government, the current government, trying to remove same? Even though the Minister of Power is actually begging now, is begging for a statement that was careless, that some people will just leave their freezer without using it. They just leave it there, blah 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 blah. And then the Nigerian people came for him. So here we have new electricity tariff may drop if Naira rebounds further. That's coming from Adelabu. The Minister of Power, Adebayo Adelabu, says the 225 Naira kilowatts per hour being paid by electricity consumers on Band A will reduce if the exchange rate falls below 1,000 to $1. Adelabu said this Thursday while he appeared on channels. The Punch records that on April 3rd, the federal government, through the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, announced that subsidy will no longer be paid on the electricity consumed by Band A customers. From 68 per kilowatt, Band A customers now pay 225 Naira per kilowatt, while others maintain the old tariff. So once we have once our Naira rebounds and we can get a dollar less than 1,000, people on Band A will actually go to church and do Thanksgiving. They will actually go to church and do Thanksgiving because they will have lower tariff to pay. That's coming from the Minister of Power. And we'll go on a short break. When we come back, we have more stories for you. vowed that more buildings will be demolished to allow for proper cleanup of the Dosmu market. Sanwo-Olu disclosed this on Thursday when he visited the market, which was gutted by fire on Tuesday. The fire destroyed no fewer than 14 buildings, with 4 buildings collapsing, according to the Lagos Territorial Coordinator of the National Emergency Management Authority, Ibrahim Farinloye. Sanwo-Olu, who described the disaster as preventable, blamed it on carelessness. In a post on X, the governor said the Sumu market will remain closed until we can ensure the safety of structures and compliance with regulations. Unapproved buildings will be demolished. Our commitment to safety and order in our market is unwavering. I think we'll get that message that is actually coming. We have read it on the banner headlines of some newspaper. Some newspaper have it on their radar and all. But the truth is that this constant fire coming from the Lagos market all the time, is there nothing that can be done about it? Maybe if they stay at home, as the governor has said that it is closed until when the necessary measures are taken, maybe they will start doing what is right. I usually use that word, what is right, because everyone knows what is right, but doing it is what matters. And we'll go on a short break. When we come back, we want to talk about our youth. You know, it's Friday, we can't do much of politics, but we have to talk concerning entertainment, trending stories and all. But today, we are talking about the youth. Youth becoming drug addicts. Who is to be blamed? Go nowhere, we are still here. Welcome back and thank you for staying tuned on the program. Today, on this segment, we're talking about the topic, youth becoming drug addicts. Who is to be blamed? I am here on this program. Some people are watching live on YouTube, on Facebook, on at CACTV. You can also join live, drop your comment. I would really love to read from you. And if you're watching live already, please leave me a comment. I would really like to read your comment. So when we talk about who is to be blamed because youth are gradually becoming drug addicts, it was on one of the banner headlines today that they now sniff feces and some other illegal substances. How did we get here? Is it the fault of the parents for not raising their children properly? Is it the fault of the community who has failed to join hands in raising children like they used to in the ancient times? Or is it the fault of the government that has allegedly refused to give to the youth what they think is rightfully theirs, or what they think the government owes them? But let's start this way. When you give birth to your child, Nigeria as a country does not have regulation on birth control. They won't tell you to give birth to 3, 4, 7, 8, 10 children. There is no law governing that. But you as a rational human being should know what you can actually cater for. Therefore, if you intend to have 5 children, you can actually cut it to 3, so that you will use the resources that you are going to use for the 2 to add it to this 3 to make life better for them. And then it will give you the time and effort to manage these 3 better rather than having 5. But the truth is that there are a lot of parents who give birth to children that they cannot train, that they cannot raise. I am not actually speaking out of point. I have researched and I've seen a lot of what is not being fair to them. But in the actual sense, their parents led them to that. Circumstances arises when parents think that, okay, we are going to have 4 children because we have the means. Things might just happen in between. All these things is the reason why parents should put everything together to make sure that their children are doing okay. See, if you are in this life, you must always be prepared for either the best or the worst. Because you are a human being and you have to go through all facets of life. You just have to face it. You go through that phases when you have to cry, when you have to laugh, when you have to felicitate with friends, when your friends comes to felicitate with you, when you have to grow to have enemies, when your enemies becomes your friend, depending on who you are, and when you become an enemy of someone. It just depends on who you choose to be. But I am actually talking about parents. Consider what I've just said. You give birth to a child. There are regions in this country where they do not see that as a crime. Theirs is just to produce babies, and once they produce these babies, they look for rich people's home to deposit these children, hoping that these rich people will raise their children for them. Who are these rich people? What do they do to your children? What actually is the aim of these rich people towards your child? There's a saying that there is no way you will love another person's child more than your own. There are people with good heart, fact. But the truth is that will they leave their own and take care of yours? Especially when yours is in their house as a maid or a worker. So let's deal from there. Some parents who didn't give out their children to become a worker, maids and all, they don't feed these children. They put these children to child labor, which is equally child abuse. At age 7, 8, some children are already on the street hawking. There are a lot of vices happening on the street that child cannot comprehend. His age is not even supposed to be exposed to such. Gradually, they see people who smoke randomly. They see people who engage in social